Welcome back everybody. On today's video we have the brand new Boss SDE-3000EVH edition, which is not only a reissue and recreation of the iconic SDE-3000 rack mount delay that Eddie, Steve Vai, and so many other players used back in the day. This kind of goes above and beyond and gives you two independent delay engines that can be set up as dual delays with the ability to add modulation, filtering, whole bunch of feedback and phase options, onboard presets, MIDI. The Van Halen version gives you an effects loop and a direct out, so you can use this in your rig to do wet, dry, wet setups, just like Eddie. You can expand it with extra foot switches. There's a foot volume, there's a noise gate. There's so much stuff in here. I will do a slightly deeper dive, but to get started, I'm going to start off with some of the built-in EVH presets on here, and I'll do some noodling on this Wolfgang with the all-important Googly Eye mod. Let's go. I've indulged myself, let's take a really quick look at what you get on the pedal. So you've got the original SDE-3000A style buttons and display. I don't have a 3000, I have the SDE-1000, which sounds pretty much identical to it. Of course, if you wanted to run stereo with those units, you would have needed two of them. Over here, you've got your preset access, and you've got all your filtering, modulation, and phase options, as well as the ability to get into the deep editing menus. Delay 1 and Delay 2 can either be set to scroll through presets or to activate each delay machine independently. And then you've got a control or tap tempo foot switch, again, which is assignable. Then on the back, let's make sure we get nice and focused over here. You've got an effects loop and a direct out. So that's the point of difference with the EVH version. For example, you could take an effects send from your amp, plug it into this, and send the direct out to your dry amp while sending the other two outputs 100% wet to your wet cabs, or you can blend a bit of dry in there. You've also got extra control options on here. You've got a line level and impedance switch on here as well. They've pretty much thought of everything you would need, and it's pretty cool to see that they didn't just kind of slap an SDE label on this and put out, like, say, a mono delay. You can actually run these as two independent stereo delays, all the extra routing options on there. This uses the fact that, you know, we're nearly 40 years in the future and we've got expanded technology to run these things while still giving you the kind of tactile control that you got out of the classic units. Let's hear some sounds now. This is actually an incredibly powerful delay workstation. Having the direct out and the two effect outs means you can run wet, dry, wet with this. Furthermore, you can actually set independent delay times on each delay in here. So you've got two separate dual delays that you can route in series or in parallel. Furthermore, you've got filtering, modulation, you can play around with the phase, You've got the ability to set the delays up in a ping pong fashion. You can set your own user assigned delay high and low cuts, or you can use the authentic SDE-3000 settings on there. It's pretty amazing. Furthermore, the original SDE didn't let you do tap tempo subdivisions, which you can do on here. So I'm just going to show you a couple little patches that I've dialed in on here in the 20 or so minutes that I've been playing around with this. We'll start off with this one, and this gives you a good overview of basically how the device works. You can choose to link the two delay channels on each of the delay modes on here, which I've got at the moment. So on delay 1, it's 333 milliseconds of delay. The feedback's at 30, the output's at 50, and I've got a little bit of modulation, but the mod button is not on. So it gives us this. If I wanted to add some modulation, well, I've got the values for the rate and depth dialed in. I'll just turn the mod button on. We can add some filtering in there as well, or we can do without. And you can also change the feedback phase and the delay phase, which we'll get into in a second. So that's delay number 1. I can kick in delay number 2 and tweak its values. Again, a completely independent delay on here. This is just a slightly longer delay. Sounds like so. I've got the same options on there for modulation, filtering, and feedback and delay phase. What's cool is if I go into the setup menu over here, I go into the master, I can set up the structure in here. So I can run these in series, or I can run them in parallel. Let's have a listen to the two delays in series now. Now that's with the delay times linked. I can use each delay, so digital delay 1 and digital delay 2, to have independent delay times, which I've done here. So I've got the first one, digital delay 1, the left channel is set at 600 milliseconds and it's 300 milliseconds on the right. Then delay 2, I've just set for a 900 millisecond delay straight down the center. So this is gonna give me my left-right delay, and then I can place one down the center and get a circular style delay. I've set up this third preset with the time tempo synced as a quarter note rhythmic subdivision. In the setup menu, I have set this up to be a panning delay, which gives us this. That one's super lush. I really, really like the way that one sounds. Next, because we've got two delays, we can use one with a short delay time and some feedback to create a flanger. This is where the feedback phase control really comes in handy. And I'm just cascading that one into a second longer delay. In fact, this is a dual delay with a dotted eighth note on one side and a quarter note on the other side. So we just hear the dual delay. Then I'm going to kick in this flanger side, and then I'll flip the phase on the feedback. Another great trick in here is setting up delay 1 and delay 2 with identical settings, routing them so that they're in parallel, and then making use of the modulation and delay phase. So if I kick in the delay phase button on one of these delays, you can see delay 1 and delay 2 are exactly the same. It just sound like a mono delay. When I kick the delay phase in, it will sound ultra wide, kind of TC-2290 style. If you can't hear any delay, that's because you're listening in mono, so make sure you're listening in stereo when I do this. Alternatively, you can set the modulation between the two independent delays to be in sync, to run freeform, or to be out of phase. Having them out of phase gives you this classic effect. And of course, these units sound awesome as a chorus, just removing most of the feedback. There's a little bit of feedback in here. This is actually one of the factory patches. I think it's a great sounding chorus. Now, a lot of those examples, I had the delay mix cranked up so you can really hear the effect. For me, I'm kind of liking the overall output around 30 for dual style delays, or this circular style delay in here, which I'll let you hear. For the out of phase thing, I actually like the level even lower at around 20. We get this. That's all I've got time for today. Unfortunately, this one's going to be a little bit shorter than I would normally like for a launch video. I think this pedal is going to make a lot of people very, very happy. The fact that You've got eddy settings in there at the push of a button. The fact that you've got the extra outputs and the effects loop to do wet, dry, wet, and to incorporate other pieces of gear, including full MIDI control, expandable foot switches, the built-in gate, all the other features that I didn't get to demo on here are pretty amazing. I'm really, really glad that Boss included these and that they didn't just put out like a single SDE-3000 sound-alike in a pedal. The fact that you can use each delay mode as a separate dual delay. There's the filtering options, the modulation options. You can go so deep on this. It's an amazing delay workstation, like the original SDEs were. Sure, you kind of needed two of them if you wanted to do stereo stuff, but they were on the cutting edge at the time. And now all these years later, this kind of feels like it fulfills that legacy where it's a super powerful delay workstation. And, you know, there's elements of some of my other favorite delays, like the phase and modulation stuff in there, the panning, you know, that's kind of like TC-2290 style, which I really, really love. There's the tactile workflow of the original unit. There's all the extra features. It's something that obviously is not going to be for everybody. I think if you just want a good all-around delay, go and get a DD200 or a DD500. But if you want those sounds from that golden era of Olympic rock guitar, this goes above and beyond. They could have just slapped a Van Halen sticker on it and had it do a single SDE thing, but this does so much more, and I really, really dig it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you to Ed and the team at Boss for letting me get one of these just before launch. It's been super fun. I'll play you all out with some more C-grade Van Halen licks for all of you. I hope you have a great day. If you like what I'm doing here on the channel, you can support me in various ways. Maybe check out some of my music that I make with Ragdoll. You might dig it. See you next time.